Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, two staff members of Israeli embassy killed in shooting near Jewish museum in Washington, D.C. The person, allegedly, who shot these two people yelled, Free Palestine, after he did it. We have Netanyahu in shock that anti-Semitism, as he calls it, is in the United States like that. Donald Trump comes out and calls that anti-Semitic act, and it's bad and as it is. And then that act even gets the name of terrorist act. Well, I will, it's horrible as it is. I can't help remembering the September 11 attack, the attacks on the United States of America. And I can't forget, and I don't want to forget, how the mass media in the United States of America portrayed those attacks and the perpetrators that they told us were the perpetrators. And they kept asking at the beginning, why did they do this to us? Why did they attack us? And they provided the answer with some experts and PhDs and analysts and all them. And the answer was, because they hate us. When some of us were like, huh? Not because you guys are there and doing something for somebody else to some other people. That's not it. So the whole world knew the answer why that could have been happened, unless it was, some special forces, special agencies, special agency actually, or agencies, because they must have worked together, if that's the case. But we knew it, and these guys were telling us that no, it's just because they hate our freedom. So as horrible as this killing is in Washington D.C., just providing us with just because some people, when that person allegedly said, Free Palestine. All right, I'm going to discuss this. But while I'm going to discuss this, I will also announce that Israel is preparing to strike inside of an independent sovereign country. It's what it calls the nuclear facilities of Iran. But hey, we're told that this act in Washington, D.C. is just people hating. And I will also bring a piece of news that I covered yesterday with an Ukrainian former official who was gunned down in Madrid, Spain. We don't know by whom. Nobody calls in front, possibly of his children, as he was dropping his children at school. I covered that yesterday. I'm going to show you. Nobody called that an act of terrorism as these guys, or an act of anti-anything. All right, because it's not. Let's start with the beginning. Two staff members of Israeli embassy killed in shooting near Jewish museum in D.C. That's horrible. Two staff members. And we know the members, the people who were gunned down. We also know the person who did it. This is not too long ago. We already know the victim and the perpetrators, Elias Rodriguez. All right, 31 of Chicago. There you have it. And this is what happened. When he was taken into custody, the suspect began chanting, quote unquote, free Palestine. Smith said. She said law enforcement did not believe there was an ongoing threat to the community. You got it? So, the stunning attack prompted Israeli missions to beef up their security. Very good. Very good. It's not over. And I'm quoting right here, Donald Trump. These horrible DC killings, based obviously on anti-Semitism. Why do they hate us? They hate our freedoms. Must end now. Correct. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. President Donald Trump posted on social media Thursday, hatred and radicalism have no place in the US. Can I hate the trees? So, can I be progressive? Okay, that's radicalism. Being very progressive. And hatred, I think it's covered by the Constitution, isn't it? Unless you act upon it, we have laws. Got it? All right. So Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America. Now, horrible. And let's go to the next topic. And we're going to have Mr. What's his name? Huckleberry Finn. Huckleby. And he's going to say something very, very interesting. And I will read it for you. Here, all the condemnations. That should be. But my point is how they're going to classify it. Here, they are the unfortunate. He is supposed, they said American and she is Israeli. I think he is maybe dual, but anyway. Yaron. Okay, and the unfortunate people right here. And we have here the Israeli Prime Minister said he's heartbroken. Instructed security, pop. All right, President Trump has that. The Secretary of State Marco Rubio already knows. This was a brazen act of cowardly anti-Semitic violence. Okay. U.S. Ambassador Uncle Huckleberry Finn said a horrific act of terror that a couple, okay. Basically, that's how it should be. I mean, it's an act of terror, unfortunately. Then we have Netanyahu right here. Terrible cost of anti-Semitism, according to Netanyahu. Then we find out that Israel preparing strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. That from yesterday. Why do they hate us? Our freedoms. And then 2 Israeli embassy staff shot and killed in Washington. This is from Sputnik, the same information. Right there, the same Huckleberry Finn, a horrific act of terrorism. And this is the video I made yesterday. And I said here, Ukraine's hitmen operate in the European Union. So there's a guy, Portnov, lived near school where he was gunned down. So here is how these guys look at that assassination. This, of course, comes from Daily Beast. MAGA Parrots, Kremlin's talking points after Madrid assassination. Not terrorism, and if you say it, it's MAGA parroting. This is American, whatever it is, and I'm not done. Associated Press, an advisor to an ex-Ukrainian president is killed near an American school in Spain. No, I haven't heard any condemnation of any kind. And we find out this is what is interesting. This is where at least one of his children, was shot to death outside the American School of Madrid. Right outside. Andriy Portnov, 51, was shot at 9:15 a.m. as students were arriving. And what they tell us? That he was right in front of the building, my friends. They were right in front of the building. Now, as horrible as both things are, one is condemned in a certain way, the other one is condemned in a different way. And then they ask us, why do they hate us? I don't know. I'm guaranteeing you that if you go, the guy gave you the answer why he did it, as horrible as it is, but hey, it's anti this. He gave you why. He didn't say those guys. It's free those guys. I don't make this video to bash the victims or anybody like that. You know, when the media and these people clearly tell you what to think and what to say and what not to say, this is why I make this video. And this is just one example. Do you remember when Daria Dugina of Russia, the daughter of Alexander Dugin, an intellectual, that some people might disagree with his views, with his intellectual work. She was blown up. while she was driving a car by the orders of the Ukrainians that we support. I haven't heard these guys calling that an act of terrorism. She was a civilian. She had no position of authority in any Russian government or military or anything like that. She was a journalist. Do you remember that podcaster? I can't remember his name, but I tell you the situation. In St. Petersburg, when he had a gathering with people in a restaurant, cafe, bar, and someone brought a present and everything blew up. The Western media did not call that anti-Russian, no. And that was done by, again, the Ukrainian special forces with the help of some. Nobody called that an act of terrorism. On the contrary, Daily Beast and others were saying, oh, you get what you know what I mean? Or how the Bible says, you sow what you, or ripe what you sow what you know what I mean? It was like, oh, actions have consequences. Don't interpret it differently. And here Daily Beast says that MAGA Parrots, the Kremlin's thing about the guy's assassination in Madrid. Now, you can choose to see it differently, obviously, but please don't stop me from seeing it and saying the way I see it. The problem is they're trying to stop people having a different opinion, and then probably they're going to try to criminalize certain kind of views in the United States of America. Views, not actions, views. So let's say tomorrow I don't like the stars, get 5 years in prison. Or if I say I don't like the stars, or if I say I hate the stars. Criminalizing speech, my friends. All right? So this is dangerous. Unfortunately, those people died. I made this video to show you how these guys all are jumping on this thing when the other guys are going to bomb Iran. They bomb Lebanon. They bomb Syria. They bomb what the fuck, Yemen. They bomb wherever they want. Wherever they want. And then they say it's just an act of hatred. Yeah, hatred, but hatred, why? You don't like certain things and the dislike turns into hatred because of the intensity and the repetition of what exactly? The person over there made it clear why he did this horrific killing, or killing, whatever you want to call it. It was. It explains exactly. No, it's just an act of. And I have one more point. If there would be, and I'm not implying what people might think I'm going to imply, but let's say we have a country where there's just, let's say, French people, no, German people, and you don't have, I don't know, Romanians and Hungarians in there. And let's say the Romanians and Hungarians living in Germany, being Germans, the countries of Germany, of Hungary and Romania get at it, war, and then we in Germany start shooting at one another on other people's territory. But the United States of America is not so innocent as Germany would be in the context of Hungary and Romania. So you have a problem because you have people. Diversity is our strength. So remember, people come with their garbage. Now, these were employees, I understand, I'm not talking about that. But you import issues. You have import issues that people bring from their countries in your country. And you're going to have problems. Nations that have history with one another, who hate one another. And they come here and then they pay back each other for something that happened in, I don't know, year 300, Common Era, or 229 or something like this. They are paying back. That's the way, All right, anyway. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.